Good morning and God bless. This one ain't for the weak. The cost of clean highs. Yeah, we about to get busy and work. God is with me. God is speaking through me. He wanted me to let you know something. Why you can't feel good about growth yet? You're not broken. You're just sobering up from stimulation, drunk off comfort. You thought growth would feel like joy, but joy doesn't hit the same when you're used to chaos. You thought healing would be euphoric, but healing doesn't spike, it stabilizes. You thought progress would be peaceful, but peace feels unfamiliar when you're drunk off comfort. Peace feels unfamiliar when your system was trained on pain. Sorry for that brief glitch. My computer froze up a little bit. You're not unmotivated. You are overstimulated. You're not lost. You're just detoxing. And your nervous system doesn't know how to trust a day that doesn't come with a chemical reward. Warning. This transmission exposes your addiction to the wrong reward system. You are drunk off comfort. Side effects may include reaching for stimulation to feel alive again, sabotaging peace to re-experience the high of chaos, emotional flatness after sustained spiritual growth. Welcome to Raw for Epoch 2, day 135. Today we expose the addiction to external reward, and we seal a system where clean highs replace chemical ones. Let's get into our concept overview. You were trained to earn your worth through external stimuli. If every victory needs applause, you're still not free. If every act of alignment feels unrewarding, you're still addicted to reaction-based identity. We've mistaken intensity for truth. We've mistaken progress for stimulation. We've mistaken performance for peace. You still on that stage wearing that mask? Here's what you'll learn. Why growth often feels emotionally flat. How overstimulation created a reward dependence in your system. Why emotional stillness is the sign you are finally healing. How to rebuild your chemistry through daily identity authorship. And why creating your own spiritual highs is the ultimate form of freedom. Let's get into our visual metaphor, but before we do, who's in the chat? Where you at, chat? Still drunk off comfort? I ain't gonna let that one go. Our visual metaphor, the sober drunk who misses the fight. Picture this. Immerse yourself. Close your eyes if it makes you feel better. And imagine a man or a woman who's been drunk every day for years. Every achievement, celebrated drunk. Every failure, numbed drunk. Every relationship, survived drunk. Gets tired of it. So he sobers up. He heals. He gets clean. And for the first time in years, he walks through his day without chaos. No arguments. No slurred memories. No dopamine from drama. But something's missing aside from the bottle. There's no reward. There's no spike. There's no hit from the healing. Imagine that. And that's when he realizes he never learned how to feel good, only how to feel intensely. That's what happens in spiritual growth. You're not missing success. You're missing your addiction to chaos. And healing doesn't spike. it settles. And if you've only known noise, peace. Peace will feel like punishment. I'm going to give you my personal perspective. I'm becoming my own stimulant provider because I was like that man in the visual metaphor. And I'll tell you what finally helped me stop drinking. I'm talking about decades, right? Enough that I wonder about my liver sometimes. But okay, it wasn't willpower. It wasn't rules. It was this one realization. My body was addicted to a reward it didn't create. And you're like, I know that's not that cool. And it doesn't sell t-shirts. Let me break it down. When you drink, your brain experiences a chemical it can't produce on its own. So it gets excited, it spikes, it records the experience as reward. You know how you know that? Because you feel drunk and it feels amazing, right? But once you stop drinking, your body goes looking for the same chemical. And when it can't find it, it punishes you for withholding what it thinks you need. It's called a hangover, right? What happens? Now you're anxious, irritable, foggy. You feel low. And it's not because you're broken, but because your system was outsourcing its own stimulation. It can't produce that chemical. Apply that spiritually. You've been living drunk. What you drunk on? You drunk on chaos. You drunk on validation. You're probably trying to post right now, trying to get a quick clap and an applause and a like. You drunk on emotional stimulation. Every argument, every performance, every scroll, every dopamine hit. That's a chemical high provided by the crowd, not your covenant. So now you're a little hungover from it. You got a headache from all the nonsense. You try to live clean. So now when you pray, move with order, create without chaos, your system misses the bottle. You're sober, but sad. Clean, but confused. Healed, but unrewarded. And it's because your brain doesn't know how to reward you for the kind of growth you're now finally choosing. I'm going to get a little bit deeper into how this addiction helped me and how it translated. But don't miss this. The real and raw. We're all chemical cocktails flowing through us constantly. And the more we allow ourselves to be addicted to whatever and I talked about being drunk on comfort, whatever identity you have today, if you are seeking validation constantly outside of who you are, then you can't seek validation internally. So you're spirited towards external, outsourced stimuli. You are leasing your freedom, your peace, your love, your joy, your bliss to the outside world. So I'm big on the instant gratification and the dopamine rushes of what the devices do, the scrolling does, social media, etc. But we got to go a layer deeper and understand that now our spirit, in order to feel quantified and qualified, it seeks that. And naturally, when you overdose on it, like anything you do that you take and overconsume, you want to pause, you want to break. And when you do, you think it's going to bring you some more joy. And you're like, why am I doing this? You're hungover. You're hungover from the life of comfort. So yeah, I'm going to go work out. I'm going to do my thing. You do it for a day or two. Or like I say regularly, you go to the gym for 7.5 hours in one day, then you skip it for 6 months. Instead of dedicating 5 to 10 minutes a day. Same thing with your relationship. Same thing with your profession. You probably need new skills, but in the same place, doing the same things at the same time for how long? That's also a chemical reality of your spirit is addicted to this. You are addicted to your current lifestyle, literally, spiritually, psychologically, emotionally, the chemical cocktails you produce. Let me keep going with my personal perspective. This is the truth that broke me and then rebuilt me. I was addicted to a feeling that only chaos could give me. I didn't quite realize it till I had to do a little bit of studying on myself. But even after I got sober, even after I stopped drinking, my body was still chasing the spike. I like to be high. I like the feeling. So my body, my mind, my spirit is still looking for that reward. Still expecting every good thing I do to come with a hit. Because that's what I was training myself to do. That's when we consume and consume and consume. It's a hit. And when it didn't, now I felt empty. Now I felt disoriented. Now I felt flat. But after some praying and some really dark moments, I realized I wasn't empty. I was just clean. I wasn't low. I was level. I wasn't uninspired. I was untrained. And that's when I flipped the entire script. I started becoming the provider of my own high. Like if I want to be high, I might as well get myself high, but not with anything else outside of myself. I tailored my day to stimulate the spirit. I wake up with intention. I pray before I feel anything. I wake up. Thank you, God, I'm alive. I go pray. I train my body to match my authorship. Scheduled my creation before the world scheduled my emotions. You're not going to tell me how to feel. I already know how I feel. I control what I control. Anything outside of my control, I let it go. Now, when I wake up, I'm already high. Thank you, God, I'm alive today. Boom, I'm high. Not from stimulation, but from my foresight. I already saw who I'm becoming. I already felt the blueprint. So I don't need a spike. I just need a mirror. Every step I take now, it isn't for the hit, it's for the seal. I'm no longer outsourcing my reward. I am my own stimulant system. And if I can produce my own high without reaching outside of myself, without looking for another substance, I no longer need the crowd. I no longer need the chaos. I no longer need the pain to prove I'm progressing. That's the cost of clean highs. No applause, no spike, just sovereignty. And I know you probably don't want that for $19.99 a month. Somebody told you to give you something else real quick, like today. That's a high. Let's get into our black book, The Neurological Hijack versus Covenant Chemistry. Let's break the system. Here are the chemical mechanics of stimulation addiction. The body that you probably don't take enough care of. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. Rewards what's repeated. Dopamine equals pleasure. Cortisol equals urgency. Adrenaline equals intensity. Oxytocin equals belonging. Do you understand how powerful that is? We're talking about pleasure, urgency, intensity, and belonging. So now, if every experience of progress was tied to stress, pressure, or chaos, you still complaining about the same things? Your system will associate growth with emotional overload. Now, when peace shows up, the body doesn't know what to do. So here comes the hangover. It calls it boredom. It actually calls it danger. It calls it apathy. And if left unchecked, you'll feel self-sabotage. Or you will self-sabotage to feel a feeling you've trained yourself to need. Ooh. Have you realized the imprint of where you are and how you move, and that you are so robotic that you will actually self-sabotage yourself to re-experience the emotional chemical cocktail of belonging, intensity, pleasure, reward. Even if it means diminishing yourself. That's real. That's science and math. That's what you're doing. Let's talk about spiritual stimulant sovereignty. The solution isn't abstinence. You should want to feel high on your life. It's authorship. You have to become your own stimulant provider. That means waking up and sealing your apex before emotion kicks in. When you wake up, what are you moving towards? I know. You got bills to pay. You got work to get to. You got rinse and repeat every day of the week. Chill out on the weekends. You don't have an apex. You're just reacting and performing for life. So if you're not sealing where you're moving towards, if you don't have a vision for who it, that doesn't have to be grandiose. Who do I want to be? I am this kind of man. I am this kind of woman. So before I feel emotional, before I even understand about how am I feeling today, thank you, God, I'm alive. I know what I got to do. I got to pray. God, faith, honor, loyalty. I got to have faith. I got to have honor to myself. I got to be loyal to what I said I was going to do. I already know what I'm going to do. I'm moving in the direction I said I was going to move every day. I pray, do some body work, hydrate, record. I work on my relationships, and I work on becoming the same person that applies the same logic across the spectrum. So, spiritual stimulus sovereignty, waking up and sealing your apex before emotion kicks in. We're all emotional. You can't elude emotion the way that you can't elude the highs and the lows. You should want to be high. We're creating it for ourselves. Training your nervous system to call stillness satisfaction. It's hard to become still in this oversaturated, stimulated, fast-paced world. It is. So when you try to bring yourself peace by just chilling out and I'm just going to just be still. 5 minutes of stillness. I assure you, if you haven't practiced stillness in a while, it's going to feel like days. You're going to start twitching, reaching for your phone. That's addict behavior. Tapping your pockets. What am I at? So your nervous system is uncomfortable being still in peace. Why? It needs something to feel high. That's why when you get a bing on your phone, that's the power of it. Get all the bings and the notifications you want, but you shouldn't be reacting to it immediately all the time. So you wonder why your nervous system is flinching and jumping and going crazy when you don't have your devices. That's why you can't be still. You haven't trained yourself to be still. You also want to figure out, we're talking about creating emotional reward through daily authorship, not audience validation. If I do what I said I was going to do, how I said I was going to do it, I don't need advice, opinions, or feedback. I don't need an audience to validate. I go dark. I do my thing. I come out into the light. I share. I have life experiences because that's part of life. I have relational experiences. I don't need to tell you what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, why I'm doing it. I already checked those boxes. I don't need to ask you what I need to do. I just need to do what I said I was going to do. That's it. You're not chemically broken. You're spiritually hijacked. It's time to build your own pharmacy. You have access to these emotions and feelings and the chemical cocktail of your life that we talked about, the belonging, the pleasure, the reward. It's there for you to use on your own. You don't have to outsource it. I know in our entitled world of immediacy and personalization, everything's a click away. And the more you give the clicks away, the more you lose authorship of your life. The more you're into the pharmacy of life that is external. Yeah, it's cool. It's good. It's great. You should indulge in it. It's there for a reason. And you should leverage it, but with balance. Don't let them hijack your spirit. There's consequences of inaction. Let's check the chat. Who's in the chat? Who's drunk off comfort? If you don't reclaim your chemistry, your chaos will always feel more honest than your peace. That hurts. You'll sabotage the love you prayed for because it doesn't spike. You'll abort the vision you were born to carry because it feels too calm. You'll scroll for emotion instead of creating from covenant. And worst of all, you'll never experience clean joy because you kept mistaking suffering for proof that you were alive. Do you understand that that's also an externally outsourced reality? The proof you need to feel alive is constant repeating of suffering, complaining, comparing, contrasting, coveting, woe is me. And it's so ingrained to what you do, you don't even realize you're doing it. How could you? Because if you did, I assure you, you would stop. Here's how to lock daily remembrance. Treat your morning like a dose. Wake up like, yo, I'm about to get high on myself. Thank you, God, I'm alive today. I said it about a half dozen times. Ask yourself, what are you feeding your nervous system first? Choose the stimulant of the spirit, not the screen. That's why they tell you, don't grab your screen. Aside from all the benefits of having things in your face and creating chaos, it's stimulating you. Your spirit, now your spirit is waking up with the urgency to check a screen. Instead of the urgency to check in with yourself. I choose God. It's higher than me, bigger than me. My apex. What's the stimulant for your spirit when you wake up? Then you want to audit all your highs. Ask, where did that feeling come from? Who owns it? Is it mine? Reinforce low stimulation obedience. Do your habits even when there's no spike, no applause, no rush, just obedience. And when you do that, you release the authority that the external stimuli has on you, which a lot of it is comfort, complacency, master success somehow. Let's get into our creation covenant loop, ARR, audit, remix, re-record for the day. We start with an audit. Ask yourself this. When was the last time you felt bored, flat, or restless? Trace it. Was it when you were trying to align yourself? Was it during prayer? After obeying your vision? That wasn't failure. That was detox. So if you decide to go still for 5 minutes and you get very uncomfortable, you're detoxing. And like any high you're coming off of and you're really switching one high for another, right? You're going to go through a stage of withdrawals. And the withdrawals are not so much headaches and nausea and vomiting. There might be some of that if you're getting off some substances. But you're detoxing from, you don't need to call people to validate what you want to do and the next steps you want to take for your life. You don't need to post and look for a bunch of likes and subscribes. And look, I'm here. I do this because I enjoy it thoroughly. And I enjoy the feedback, of course. But it's still driven towards me obeying my vision, what I believe God has for me. And God has something for you too. You don't have to believe it's just God. Point being, you decide to go work out today. Yeah, it hurts. That's detox. Man, I could have been at the bar with my friends. That's detox. Stillness and the pain that comes with it, you're detoxing. Then you want to hit them with the remix. This is the thought identity portion. So we went through the emotional portion for the audit. Now we're going to think about what we're thinking about. The old thought says, if it doesn't excite me, it's not right. If I'm uninspired, I must be off. If there's no feedback, I must not be progressing. None of that's true. That's just an addicted mind reaching for the bottle of emotion. How about this for a new thought? Stillness is not stagnation. It is system mastery. This feels loose. Then you want to re-record. Now that we're changing our thoughts, we got to take some action. Today, create your own chemical. Meditate in silence. Yo, it doesn't have to be in the Buddhist position, the lotus or whatever it's called. I've been meditating for years. I have a position I like. Find one that works for you. Lay down. Sit in a chair. Lay in your bed. You can meditate in your bed in silence. Lay there. Close your eyes. But do it in silence. Total and complete silence. I assure you, you will get as addicted to that as you are to a bottle or a post or a friend that keeps telling you you're doing it wrong, or they keep telling you you're doing it right. So you want to hear the applause, but you're in the same place. Imagine going to a friend to say, hey, I'm doing this. Oh, you're doing a great job, but you haven't gotten what you wanted. They just keep reassuring you to repeat what they know you shouldn't be doing because they don't want to hurt your feelings. We're all very real and honest until it comes time to be very very real honest. Meditate in silence. Sit on your porch if you got one. I grew up in the project. Sit in the staircase, but do it in silence. Here's another action you could take. Speak without uploading. Yo, I talk to myself all day. I know how that sounds. Everything doesn't make it on tape. Journaling is a great thing. You don't need an actual pen and paper. Journal to your phone, voice record. Chat GPT. You want to use Chat GPT for something? Create a journal asking for feedback versus asking, yo, how are you going to take over the world? What would the devil do? Stop using it for dumb shit. Speak without uploading it. Talk to yourself in the mirror. Not just affirmations. Talk it out. Obey without seeking applause. Finish without needing feedback. Let your movement be the medicine. Let your system relearn your name. Where you at, chat? Significant. Your system is systeming. Exactly how you taught it to system. And before it relearns what it is you want to do, it'll fight you. That's the detox. The more you move in the direction, this is why we talk about this in the space regularly. You can't get anywhere without movement. That's logical. If you want to go somewhere, you definitely got to move to get there, right? So if you're not moving, where do you expect to go? And if you find it difficult to change something, the easiest thing to do before you even think about it and before you even feel it, before you even have foresight and forecast and vision board it, move somewhere. It might also change what you see. Move, take a move. The easiest thing I always recommend, you can wake up earlier, you can go to sleep earlier, you can go work out. Take a 10-mile walk one day. If you're gonna, overextend, take a walk and just keep thinking about your life until something hits you where you're like, yo, I want to do, I know what I got to do. But once you take action, your system starts, your spirit starts, everything starts to rewire itself, and the new possibilities emerge. And then all that's left to do is repeat it. Clean highs don't spike. They seal. And if you don't retrain your nervous system to trust peace, you'll destroy the silence that was supposed to save you. Stop borrowing chaos to feel alive.